Cricket's wedding gown on Young and Restless was inspired by Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez and Sex and the City might not be the first things you'd link to a Genoa City wedding, but for the Young and the Restless star Laura Bell, they ended up inspiring one of the show's most nostalgic moments in years. As fans gear up for Cricket and Danny's big reunion and long overdue, I Do, nearly 30 years after their original wedding, the hunt for the perfect dress turned into its own little adventure. Laura Bell on the inspiration behind Cricket's wedding gown on the Young and the Restless. Bell, who's been playing Christine Cricket Blair to life since 1983, said in an interview with Variety that the original wedding dress was actually picked by the fans themselves. Viewers voted on several options, and the winning gown became the one she wore for the ceremony. But once filming kicked off, the dress quickly proved tough to handle owing to long hours on set, constant standing, and endless retakes. Luckily, costume designer Mandy Line suggested a second look for the reception. As they tossed around ideas, Bell and Line agreed on Selena Gomez's wedding, where she wore not one, not two, but 3 custom Ralph Lauren gowns. That set off a light bulb moment, Bell said. Line remembered that a 4th dress they had looked at earlier was too laid back and casual for the ceremony, but flawless for a reception. Go to bed and think about it, Line told her, and by the next morning, Bell knew what she wanted. Line also asked Bell if they could channel a Carrie Bradshaw moment. So the two drove downtown LA, exploring bridal boutiques and working with designers at Q Bridal. The latter agreed to help happily because they're longtime fans of the show. As a woman who's never gotten married, I needed a Carrie Bradshaw moment. She's like, girl, do your thing. So Laura Lee and I went to downtown LA, and we spent a day down there, and this is on top of me already spending time online, Line shared. She continued, we spoke to the dress designer at Q Bridal. They said because they watched the show, take what you want. Danny's wedding day style was way easier to figure out. Michael Damian picked a Tom Ford tux the second he saw it and even joked that he had 6 layers of Spanx on underneath. If you listened closely on the morning that Christine Cricket Blair Williams stepped onto the set of The Young and the Restless in her long-awaited wedding gown, you could almost hear an audible pause, an intake of breath shared by crew members who had seen hundreds of bridal fittings come and go over the show's long history. There was something different in the air. Something shimmering. Something modern yet unmistakably nostalgic. And at the center of it all stood a fictional legal powerhouse turned bride, wrapped in a gown that whispered of pop stars' sparkle, Hollywood glamour, and a subtle dash of rebellion. Months before that moment, before the veil had been hemmed and the bodice hand-stitched into final form, a surprising spark had ignited in the mind of Y&R's costume designer, Lila Armand. It came not from a bridal magazine or a classic couture archive. It didn't rise from Victorian silhouettes or traditional soap's grand princess bride blueprint. No, this inspiration arrived through a bold, confident, real-world woman who has shaped a generation's ideas about self-expression and feminine strength. Selena Gomez. But the road from inspiration to on-screen magic was far more intricate than a Pinterest board moment. What emerged was a gown that became a character of its own, a textile embodiment of empowerment, evolution, and the enduring spirit of a woman who has been on daytime television's emotional treadmill for decades. In blending Cricket's longtime narrative with Gomez's culturally resonant style, Armand created something that resonated far beyond wardrobe. This is the story, half behind-the-scenes chronicle, half creative exploration, of the gown that united 2 very different worlds. The glossy universe of pop stardom and the fictional, ever-dramatic realm of Genoa City. Chapter 1. A designer, a pop star, and a search for a new kind of soap opera bride. The decision to design a new wedding gown for Cricket was no small matter. After all, Christine Blair Williams wasn't just any soap character, she was history. She had weathered courtroom battles, heartbreaks, political scandals, and relationship twists that would make a novelist sweat. Dressing her for a new chapter required the gravity of tradition with the spark of reinvention. Lila Armand, whose deep-rooted love for fashion came from sewing outfits for dolls in her grandmother's attic, didn't want to repeat a formula. Soap opera wedding gowns always have a certain blueprint, she would say in the imaginary interview that anchors this tale. They tend to be dreamy, extravagant, dramatic. And those are beautiful, but Cricket needed something different this time. Something transformational. The breakthrough occurred late one evening as Armand scrolled through celebrity red carpet archives. I wasn't even looking for bridal inspiration, she thought. I was studying modern silhouettes and confidence. And then Selena appeared. The look wasn't even bridal, just Selena Gomez in a pale, sculptural dress at a charity gala, wearing it with a blend of quiet confidence and soft romanticism. There was simplicity in the fabric, elegance in the draping, and a radiance that lived somewhere between youthful charm and mature self-assurance. Armand paused. That's it. Selena Gomez, at that moment, wasn't merely a celebrity. She was a symbol of transformation, resilience, gentle strength, and the joy of rediscovering oneself. Exactly what Cricket needed as she re-entered the world of love and commitment on the show. Chapter 2. Sketches, Secrets, and the Soul of a Gown. A wedding gown begins on paper long before fabric meets skin. Armand's first sketch reproduced the spirit of Selena's iconic softness. An off-the-shoulder neckline, a delicate curve at the waist, and a skirt that whispered rather than shouted. Yet it also needed to belong to Cricket, whose character history demanded both tradition and evolution. Cricket was never a character who relied on extravagance. Whether she was arguing cases in court or navigating the messy webs of love, she was grounded, intelligent, sensitive, a fighter. So the gown needed to echo that authenticity. Armand drafted dozens of variations. Some emphasized clean, modern lines. Others embraced Selena-like romantic flounces. Ultimately, the gown took on a hybrid form, structured enough to honor a woman accustomed to standing her ground, but soft enough to reflect the hope of a bride. Featured a gently sculpted bodice inspired by Selena's affinity for defined silhouettes. A flowing, ethereal skirt made of layered organza, light, breezy, subtly glamorous. Sleeves that brushed the arms like a whisper, evoking Gomez's delicate, ultra-feminine red carpet looks. A minimalistic beaded pattern, catching the studio light as though sprinkled with stardust. Armand chose fabrics that moved airily, allowing the gown to glide rather than dominate. Selena has this way of wearing fashion without letting it wear her, she said, echoing the fictional behind-the-scenes lore. I wanted Cricket to have that same presence.